I'm here with David Turner, and I haven't had a chance to ride this bike today, which I'm a bit sad about. So, tell me all about it.
So this is our second drop bar bike, and it's really more of an all-road bike than gravel. You know, the gravel, of course, name is getting quite wide as far as what its definition is, and this is definitely on the left side or right for the over to the side, left or right, right. So it's all road. Um, I really designed this for 28 to 38 millimeter tires, one or two rings, full internal cable routing. I wanted it to be the one road bike that most people should actually be on, because I do ride the road enough to see what a lot of people are on. They're on world tour bikes with 40 millimeters of spacers and uncomfortable, and they're overgeared. So years ago, my wife and I starting race cross and all that, and I said someday we'll have one bike that we can do everything on. Obviously it's not going to be a world tour bike, but we're not world tour riders, and it's not going to be the most awesome gravel bike, but one bike to do most of our riding, so you can put 28s on it with the same set of wheels, really. I mean, nowadays there's plenty of road tires that are tubeless compatible. You can just pop them on less than half an hour. You change the personality of a bike completely. So 33s, of course, for cyclocross racing. There's adequate clearance for that. Maybe not for UK racing. I've seen the pictures. I do watch. I love it, actually. I love looking at the pictures of you all.
You like watching us suffer.
Yes, the mud. Yeah.
Is it Uci compliant then in terms of the geometry? Because they have very strict rules about what you can and can't do.
I have no idea. I can't imagine many UCI pros buying a bike from me. So, this you could race cross on it, 33s or 35s, and then here we've been riding it today with 38s, and that's about it. More compact seat tube, trying to expose a little bit more seat post, a little taller stack height, a little bit more comfort, a little bit more reach than a road bike for front end stability, and a very tight chainstay length for a dirt compatible bike, trying to keep it nimble for the more packed ride, hard packed dirt, or the group road, what do you call them, fondo style riding. I guess that's the American term. Anyways, we've got this all road or fondo type bike. So this is my second drop bar bike. So this is the Cyclosis CXR, so cyclocross race or road, and then we'll do the cyclocross version, Cyclosis version 2 in Thai. We're gonna do some Thai bikes because I absolutely love Thai.
You don't have to choose paint. That's one of my favourite things.
Yes, everybody knows that this is my favorite color scheme here, metal and black. So the very first Thai bikes ever were built by Merlin Metalworks for a company called Marin Mountain Bikes back in 1987. Well, I have one of the first 12 bikes, and I was lucky enough to race on a team that had those as the race team bikes, and it's still hanging in my rafters. And I've had a Thai bike or two since, and I've always loved Thai. But it's since I went from manufacturing in aluminum, and then we've done some carbon, it doesn't really play well to full suspension, or it hasn't yet. I would love to find out how, and I keep my imagination turning on that. But because of all the pivot points, and titanium is heavier even than aluminum, it would make it hard to keep the weight reasonable. But in a drop bar rigid bike, it can be close enough, and the ride. As you rode a Moots today, and
and I've got a titanium road bike as well. So yeah, I'm a fan of not choosing paint. Yeah.
Yes, but the ride is different.
Yeah.
It really is. Yesterday we were riding, my wife and I, over these open to the public dirt roads, and some of them have some decent washboard, and she was picking washboard lines and just saying, wow, it really is smooth, because she doesn't have the experience in Thai, And a lot of people don't because they came up through maybe steel and then aluminum and then carbon. And tie, depending on the diameter of the tube and then the wall thickness, we did some shaping on the seat stays. So obviously we've increased the length of the tube, even though the distance from the seat tube to the dropout hasn't changed, so that we do get a little bit more flex. It's nominal. I mean, we're not going to bullshit anybody here. But it is giving.
Right.
And as you know, a little bit goes a long way when you have no suspension.
Yep. So on suspension and gravel bikes, what's your view on travel on the front fork there on gravel bikes? Is that, does it have a place in this world or in your world?
Philosophically, no. Part of the beauty of riding this type of bike, especially in the tire category up, which is 35 to 45 millimeter tires, and even more stack, right? So you have even a higher front end. You can stay more in the drops, which is where your safety is. You're not going to come off the drops, right? You're not going to slip off the hoods. I mean, you could slip off the hood, but you're not coming off the drops. So at that point, the bike is so darn capable that I really enjoy picking the lines, the smooth lines, and occasionally missing that line and then having to, get the whole, the gut goes up, and that, the terror and all that, and then you ride out of it. But I do see that in the next level above, which would be the 45 millimeters to 2.25, I can't do the math right off the top, but up into a full-on mountain bike sized tire, then I can see that for some a short travel fork, maybe. So I have that bike has been planned out, and it is suspension corrected short travel for that. But I really don't see a need for it because, again, as the stack goes up, you get more behind the bar. The top of the bar gets closer and closer to the level of the seat. Your stability just keeps going up. Top tube length goes out, stems come, and you end up with a bike that's pretty damn capable. No, it's not going to be smooth, but if you want smooth, there's this thing called a mountain bike, and it is 30 some years in development, maybe 40 depending on where you start the clock. That's the most awesome at true rough terrain. This is not awesome at rough terrain riding. The reason we're picking it is because it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Or what did you, how'd you call it?
Mild peril. Yes. I like the additional mild peril. And everything you've just said about, why you would ride this bike and how you've designed it, that rings with like what I enjoy most about being on a bike. Being out there and picking your line, not just blasting through and the suspension taking care of everything. Yeah, actually riding a bike. Yeah,
the other thing, and I know this is getting really weird, but I'm really getting old. And I find myself saying weird shit out loud more and more. But I like to feel the ground.
Right.
I really like to feel it because it changes constantly. And the sound of the tires, for what hearing I do have left, I like the sound of the tires, where they grip, where they don't grip, and without suspension, I can actually feel the connection between the sound and then the tactile feel coming through my feet and my hands. And I'm just enjoying feeling the earth change from, the reddish dirt to the tannish dirt, whatever it is, the brownish mud, and then it goes quiet, and then it's just a whole different deal. Whereas with suspension, and yeah, I do ride a suspension mountain bike a lot, but it's a whole different deal. Like you said, your line choices are different. You can be much more courageous and know that you're gonna chances are you're gonna be all right.
Mm-hmm. So you talk like someone who likes to be at one with the world around them when they're riding and that sort of thing. I wonder how you feel about e-bikes, dare I ask? So it's fair to say there's no Turner e-bike in Turner Charged or whatever in the works. So back to this. The last thing, I don't think I've discussed the price. What's the pricing for these then?
Frame and NV fork 2,500, and then from there, you know, here's a 2x Ultegra, or we do mostly 1x stuff, you know, for certainly for cyclocross, 1x King, and certainly for gravel, it's fine. It's all most people ride anymore. But on this type of bike, because of the potential to put road tires on, we can do Ultegra. I got to make a point here of the non-Ultegra, non-Shimano crank. So Praxis has a double crank with a 32 low gear instead of the standard 34. Combined with Shimano's new 34 low cog, I was able to get less than 1-to-1. And, you know, because I ride so much with so many people, so many group rides, I see all too often people being crippled by overly geared bikes. They'll be riding along fine, and you hit a steep pitch, and they're off their bike walking. And, you know, we don't ride these kind of bikes to walk uphill.
No.
Right? It's slow, and it hurts your feet on stiff soles. So the bottom line is getting lower and lower gears is one of the challenges, I think, of this class of bike, whether it be all road like this bike or a gravel bike or even a full-on monster cross bike. They're going to need lower gearing.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's why I did this. If anybody's wondering why it has a funky off group, you know, some people are really into that. And it's like, well, if Shimano would either go to a bigger cog set that would work with their road stuff or smaller chainring set, then hoorah. But really it's about trying to achieve a wider range of gearing so people don't need e-bikes.
Great. Well, I think the bus is loading.
Yep.
So
thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.